Now we touched on this last week. I thought this was a real gimmicky thing, and we're about to go into story time here. So Sideshow sent out this marketing thing. Sign up on the RSVP today for a chance to order this figure soon, which is way too many words to basically say just sign up to order this figure. You get a special bonus for those that RSVP. Only 300 available. Now I woke up Wednesday after the show, and one of the Sideshow representatives have said, well, it's actually only a 300 quantity of the special bonus, but we're going to have more stock of the figure. Which Marco had said last week, and I thought that was a weird take on like reading this, but I was like, hey, look, Marco's right. Good for you. A
It's
few
so
hours
ambiguous with this.
Yeah.
Too many words, right?
So pragmatic. So, a few hours later, Sideshow, one of their admins on their Facebook group, confirmed, like, hey, that guy was misspoke. It is actually legitimately only 300 items, though anyone that does RSVP will get a special bonus. We come to find out that special bonus is a $20 coupon that can be used on select figures. I believe that were in stock on Sideshow, which is a weird thing. I thought it was going to be a special accessory or, a discount on this actual figure. You could, in fact, not use that discount on this figure, which is
And I
kind
think
of
it
weird.
ended up being 30% off instead of $20 as previously reported.
Oh, was it really?
It was 30% off, yeah. On
Okay,
select
so I
Hot
thought
Toys.
that was the discount they gave if you didn't get it because everyone was complaining.
That's a good call. I haven't actually seen.
I think
the
you are
okay.
might be incorrect there. So we're putting the cart before the horse here. It went live. Now, if you don't do email marketing, we don't do it for CW, but I've done it before for other businesses that I've been a part of. When a company sends out an email, if you get the email, that doesn't mean that every single person on that list gets it as soon as it hits send, right? Depending on the email list, it could take 15 minutes, it could take an hour. We have Sticker Mule coupons that we have through two different accounts, and they'll be like hours apart, like 2 or 3 hours. So people immediately, of course, go to the website, and in typical 2022 website ordering, it bricked the site. People were able to try to add them to their carts. The website was failing. Eventually, the website actually just went down completely. And it was a fucking fiasco. People were saying my day is ruined. How could you do this on Halloween? Which doesn't make a lot of sense. It's 12 o'clock p.m. on Halloween. The sun's still up. I mean, what are you doing on Halloween day that's that important? If it was Christmas Day, I get it. People
Drunk on
freaked
chocolate.
the fuck out. Now, after this fiasco, now I think the chat here has backed me up here. The 30% was given to everyone. I got the figure in the 30%. Thought it was given as a sorry we fucked up. But I think Baptist here says he got the $20 off, which we confirmed in that post, Marco. And then 30% was like kind of like a secondary after the fact. Now, again, a lot of people were really upset about this. I really wish I actually had the thought to make a compilation of the Butthurt post, but that's neither here nor there. I didn't have time to do it. But boy, I think this figure looks okay. But for 320, no
Yeah,
rewards,
ridiculous.
no discounts, insane. And the thing is, like, you're RSVPing for this figure. You have to buy it like that day, right? And then you're spending 320, and then you get a coupon that you can't use on this figure that you then have to buy another, $200 figure to get the $20 off. It goes to what Ben was saying last week, right? Like they kind of like lure you in with a discount, but then you're buying a second figure. It was fucking crazy. People were really upset. I didn't
Upset about what?
about the website crashing. About the website crashing. They thought it was going to be like a
They thought they were gonna
system.
get. They thought they were
thought they were
gonna
gonna
get
waltz right
online.
in. Exactly.
Oh, I can order. No, welcome to collecting.
Now let me tell you this, John. I do not think that our hobby, specifically the collectors in our hobby, are ready for truly exclusive
Nope.
and truly limited products.
But why is
Bro,
that, Zach?
People were freaking because it doesn't happen. This is out of
Exactly,
nowhere.
because people are not
Bro,
used to this.
People were like, I mean, the messages that I mean, you would have thought they like murdered someone's family member. Like they were so hurt, so offended.
There's only three.
It was a
We live in a
fiasco.
world. We live in a world with 7 billion people. Okay, there's only 300. What did you think you were gonna do? Wake up
300
in
for
the
Sideshow. We don't know if it's a
Okay.
global 300, but 300 for
Sideshow,
a
okay.
big chunk of that 7-8 billion people.
But what did you think? You were going to wake up in the morning, put your coffee on, and just straddle right onto your computer, and one was going to be waiting for you? No, it's exclusive.
Yeah.
It's exclusive. Welcome to collecting. This is what I've been talking about since day one.
Yeah.
This is it.
Zach, should I save my thoughts for the process until later on, like maybe the hot seat, or should I chime in after Dean? Just in terms of the website, like for someone trying to get it, and who's someone who spent a few hours on it, should I?
Are you
chime in
trying to
now or
prepare for
hold
your
it?
hot seat segment?
Wow, are you trying to meta the hot seat, bro? How dare
I'm
you?
just
there,
trying to hold it back.
I'm just okay. So, were you trying to get the figure? I'll interrupt if we're going like into that territory. I do have questions for all of you.
Damn
today.
you, Equan.
So, Marco, what were you trying? Well, was anyone on the panel rather trying to get this figure?
Of course
Let me
not.
share
Who's
my
paying
experience
$320 for
after-
this cap?
Yeah. After Dean goes with his point, let me share my experience with trying to get the figure.
Let Dean unbox. He doesn't. Need
I
to go.
was just gonna
He's
say
not even paying.
that
Before the show, I was like, "Hey, everyone, dial in," and Dean's over there dealing with packing peanuts on the fucking
this
desk.
thing is
Bro, I'm
damn near unusable. This
Dean,
is
we're going
terrible.
early CW. I'm
Sorry,
gonna hit you
bro.
with that focus.
How dare you? So I feel like at least in 6 scale, we've never had, to my knowledge, a real exclusive where if you're not there right when it goes live, you're probably not going to get it. I mean, we've done it live on the show where I'll wait until 4 a.m. to pre-order something on the other side of the planet, and the second the clock strikes, 4 a.m., it's sold out. I can't even load the page fast enough to order said product. And that happens in a lot of collecting communities. Mezco, that one specifically I'm talking about was the Bandai Chogokin. There's plenty of collecting communities where if you're not ordering it right the second it goes live, you're not going to get it. And that never really happens with 6 scale, to my recollection. If I'm wrong, chime in. Statues, another good one. If you don't order them right when they go live, sometimes you're shit out of luck. So for this, I think it was a very rude wake-up call, and people were like, "How dare you?" It's like, but that's collecting. That's the game, right? That's why you're paying top dollar for some of this stuff. So like to me, it was just kind of like John said, welcome to the rest of the world that everybody else is living in.
Sneakers, like TK said, for example, is a
Oh
big...
yeah, dude, fucking Supreme, anything by Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me bring in this timer because that's a perfect segue. Dean, if you could do me a favor, check private chat for me, please.
Yeah.
So Marco, as a listener of your show, you often talk about how you used to purchase sneakers, and I would assume, you would go through like the Nike sneaker drops, like the Jordan sneaker drops, at least just from a casual listen. What advice would you have for Sideshow, being someone that's been a collector of like these really like uber collectible items, and how they can improve this going forward?
Absolutely. So I will say, yeah, I've gone after exclusive things kind of, throughout my entire life, like going after exclusive shoes, going after PS5s, concert tickets. So yeah, like I'm used to, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, right? So you've got to go in as a consumer kind of with that mindset that, like John said, there's only 300. There's a ton of people on this planet. We're not all special. Not everyone's going to get one. I would say, like Nike's got it really dialed in, but people still get upset by this, but they've got the app, which makes it like way more streamlined. You could have all your information kind of input already. And then for the really, really exclusive stuff, they do a raffle system. So it's a tough system as well, because, you'll feel like you missed out, but at least you don't waste 2 hours like I did and others did trying to secure shoes. You can kind of have it queued up and you'll know, they'll alert you if you got it. And then for larger releases, you just hit one button, you can purchase it or not purchase it if it sells out.
So let's expand a bit on that raffle system. So you do it, and you can just walk away. You get an email if you got it or you didn't. Because I
Yeah.
think, apparently, according to the comments, I think the thing that most people were upset about was the hours spent refreshing, adding to the cart. I know a few of our people here use which I don't understand what LEO is. What is that? LEOs are straight raffles linked to a credit card. Is the
yeah, I don't
fair
know.
way?
Legos.
There you go.
I'm not familiar with that term.
Yeah, so I think that was certainly improve the experience. I think maybe that people would be less upset if they didn't waste 2 hours supposedly on a very important holiday.
Yeah.
John, do you want to see this more going forward? This
Yeah.
limited type thing. It's something you've been talking about for quite a while.
I'm not saying do it with everything, but hell yeah, they should do it. Damn right. And I want them to see not only with figures, but I want to see with statues, right? Low ESs, an exclusive. You got to be there on time. It has to work out. The cards have to be in your favor for you to get it, and that's it. You didn't get it. Well, it's just too bad. That's how it works. I didn't end up getting one. You miss out. You miss out. In my opinion, I would have liked to see This is where this is iffy. Is now. We're talking about the rest of the world getting them. Now, is this going to be some baloney where, like Inar did with the window reopening, and they're going to somehow sneak in some more? I really hope not.
I won't be shocked, John, if they do.
I would be
honestly.
so disappointed. Because at the end of the day, there's a wait list going on now. So with
Yeah.
Sideshow. So I don't know. That seems a little iffy. But to really put the cherry on the cake, they could have taken this opportunity to literally did Sideshow exclusive and have it numbered 1 of 300, 2 of 300. So that this way, Sideshow got the 300. Here's this exclusive 300 numbered figures. Numbered figured. And that's it. Right? I think that would have been a cool thing to do and add it to it. Nonetheless, I would have liked to see it on a new release, not a reissue or re-release, whatever you want to consider this. 320 for this figure is way too
Crazy.
much, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's
Like way too much.
and no discounts and no rewards. You're getting like straight piped on that 320 plus tax and shipping.
I do think he'll go up in value because of this exclusivity. Because again, this is a movement, a step back for this community. There's a lot of new collectors in this community from when Hot Toys used to sell out. So I think this is a shock, and that's why you got that backlash towards Sideshow. But we need more of this. It's healthy. It's healthy for the collecting community.
Yeah, John, I'm not opposed to having exclusive. Honestly, it's kind of cool that there is a really rare figure. We haven't had the Churro Spider-Man release yet. We don't know if there's going to be another version without the Churro and other accessories, but that'd be another cool one if it stayed pretty limited. Again, I think that the biggest issue, and definitely the one that I was frustrated with, is that I did spend, about 2+ hours. Had my phone on the computer and getting to the checkout page and then it crashing. So they were obviously like prepared because they did an RSVP system. So they had some infrastructure in place, but that was definitely a hiccup. A really good system would not even allow you to get to the cart. It happens with other stuff, but I think I was in the cart either via Apple Pay or on Sideshow's website at least 20+ times, hit place order, it crashes. And so I think that's kind of a frustrating, hiccup throughout all this. Again, I went in prepared, like you might get it, you might not. And the fact that it is a reissue kind of makes it a bit more palatable for me because it's not a must-have figure. If it was one that I was just dying to have, I would be pretty frustrated that I spent 2+ hours and came away with nothing. Opposed to, you hit a button, they let you know whether you got it or not. That could be a bit more streamlined. But yeah, overall, I think more exclusives moving forward could be kind of cool.
Interesting. Marco, what's your reasoning, I guess, for pulling the trigger if it's not a needed figure in your collection? Is it just because it might be limited and have value?
I actually liked it before I knew that it was going to be limited, and we'll see. Time will tell, right, whether they keep it at the 300. But I just thought it was a really cool version of Cap. I really love Winter Soldier, the fact that it's endgame, the fact that it has this special gauntlet. I thought it was a really neat release to begin with, but not one that I thought would be must-have, and definitely at 320 without any discounts was a tough nut to swallow, but I still was prepared to swallow that nut.
I think it's
Wow.
It's crazy to me that the end game cap was cheaper than this, and in my opinion, it comes with more stuff. Like the
Much
value
more.
for the dollar,
You could
was
get it
better.
for $200.
Yeah, and like I don't even think they've changed the head sculpt. I'm pretty confident it's the same one. Like
Same
there's a
sculpt.
lot of reuse here.
It's not even
I
screen
think-
accurate, right? Because he's got the long hair at the beginning of Endgame.
Exactly. I agree with John on this one. I think that the best thing they could have done is make this a numbered release to make it even close to worthy of the price tag, because otherwise I don't like what it does to this community. Like I get it that like that is collecting in a nutshell, and that is what we kind of want to go back to. And like if exclusivity drives values of our collections back up, I'll be really happy with that as a win as a collector of things that I already have. But then on the other hand, like I have been conditioned and gotten used to being able to take some time and digest a purchase and make justification for why I want to spend the money in those things. And I don't want to start feeling like FOMO beats out my actual desire to have a possession in my collection, because that's when I think that like collecting as a hobby can get really exhausting, because you start spending money that you didn't necessarily even, you may not have actually cared to spend to begin with, and you're just spending it to get it in your collection for what? Because you wanted the value. Like it puts a bad taste in my mouth if they're not going to create some level of exclusivity beyond
yeah.
saying that it's in quotations exclusive. Because as you said, John and Marco, like if they do come out with like, oh, we've got more figures now, and
Oh.
it comes with one less accessory, but it's
yeah.
otherwise the same thing, or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, come on, like that shouldn't even be a question to us at this point, not at this price point. So
Jay, I already
if-
see it now. We heard your demand, and we're
It's
releasing
back,
more.
baby.
You're
If-
you're. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were finished.
I was just
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, if they're not gonna number it, I think it should be available for everybody. Period.
Your points are good. The only thing is, as a collector, you're right. As a collector, it's good to be able to sit back, especially when you're getting
Yeah.
multiple releases in such a quick manner. Like we came out of this and they dropped like how many releases at once, and everyone's going crazy because now they got their pre-orders and it's. But the issue is for a business like Sideshow, I don't think it's sustainable to go the way they're going. Find me. I don't. Can we find one hot toy on Sideshow's site that's the original price without being so heavily discounted?
Miles Morales. Unfortunately, the one fucking figure that I want is regular price.
But what I'm trying to get at is out of all the releases, like that Blurg is already discounted.
Well, we talked about it last week. There was figures that released the same day that were already discounted.
And it's not sustainable.
crazy.
I can't see Sideshow continuing like this. It's I don't know understand how they can be discounting the figures so heavily and meanwhile they're being discounted, but they're not even as selling like off the shelf. Everything's pretty much still available. So I think Sideshow will take a step back and be like, well, we really need to change what we're doing because this isn't going to work long term.
But do you think
Lane's-
like selling batches of 300? Sorry, I'll read. Lane Kramer says $2 super chat. Thanks, buddy. Let's talk more about Awesome Cap, Hot Toys Zombie Cap, which we should talk about. Do you think like I get what you're saying too in terms of it not being sustainable? Because if they have to keep putting this wide net out and then discounting things, like how is that sustainable? But then on the other hand, if they're doing these small batches of 300, people are not complaining about the price anymore because they're like, "Ooh, it's exclusive, so I'll pay it." But then they're only selling 300, maybe not like the trickle out of 3,000 that they might get. Like we
Yeah.
talked about with margins last week. The margin, they're just reducing their margin. They're still making money on these bad boys either way.
But
so
it's-
having that wider net selling more would still be in my mind's eye anyways.
But
or
the
whatever,
way Hot
business-wise
Toys,
better.
the way Hot Toys is producing and how things are coming out quickly, in the sense that releases are just releases. Selling 300 at 320 like this doesn't cost too much employee work.
That's true.
Warehouse
Storage.
space,
Yeah.
storage,
Yeah, it's in and
stuff like
out.
that.
Boom.
It's in.
Yeah,
and,
that's
it
true.
Literally comes in from Hot Toys to Sideshow, and from Sideshow straight out. They're not sitting
And-
on inventory.
Well,
let
and
me-
they got
let
a
me
lot in
quickly
the
read
chamber. They
this.
got 144 or whatever ready, like
Oh, yeah.
pre-orders out already,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
locked and loaded. Sorry, Marco, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just going to read this comment from my buddy Andrew Gibo here. Exclusivity wasn't an issue for me. I think it's awesome, and I was willing to fork up the money for one of my most wanted figures. And I desperately wanted him to have one. Him and Usby were like the people I'm like, man, if they get him. And so I think he took the L. Usby was able to get one.
Okay,
But
good.
yeah, it is
Everybody
tough.
was able to. Okay, good.
Yeah. Let's move on here. Hot Toys, our lovable talking tree is going to steal your heart that you would not believe. Keep your eyes on the upcoming release of the Groot collectible figure inspired by the series I am Groot. Very cool on that. Now this is neat. Blitzway's kind of cemented themselves as like the music company. The company's making like different musicians. They have teased a Kurt Cobain 1/6 scale action figure, and I want to say that when they last showed. When they showed their last figure, we kind of sat down and said, like, who would you want to see? And I want to say at least one of us, I don't think, maybe it was myself, had wanted a Kurt Cobain. So this is really neat. Obviously, there's not much details here yet, but one of the most influential artists of, when I was younger. And so this is... I'm glad that a licensed company like Blitzway was able to do it. I think they've had some really great figures over the past few years.
Yeah.
And, I think it's someone that deserves to be brought into 1/6 scale figure form. And honestly, if the price is good, it may be something I have to consider, to be honest.
What other figures beyond the Ghostbusters has Blitzway done in recent memory? Because I'm kind of new to them as a company.
They did the Godfather figures,
Yeah.
They did two of them. It's like the Golden Years and the regular version.
The Ghostbusters.
Yep, they did the Jimi Hendrix.
Scarface,
which, was
was
really
it?
good. I believe that was older, but yeah, I think they've done a Scarface in the
Yeah,
past.
Tony Montana.
Did they do the Ted and
Yeah.
Bill and Ted, yeah,
Bill
I
and
believe
Ted,
they
yeah.
did. No, those had body issues, so hopefully this one isn't seamless.
don't we all have body issues?
Well,
Truer words never spoken.
Fight Club as well. 160s.
Yes, very, very
Yes.
good figures there. So Blitzway is certainly not a company to sleep on, and
No.
really excited to see what.
and they're working heavily now, even on the statue side, with
Yep.
Prime One and
Prime
making
One,
the
yeah.
portraits and so forth.
Yep, they're
Really
doing
quick,
some
you
good
had me
stuff.
shook, but the Godfather figures were damn toys.
No. I want to say
Blitzway did
Blitzway did one originally
previously.
a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get clarity on. Thank you.
I wanted.
Let me
I'll
check
double
that.
check that, but I.
Damn,
could've
Zach,
sworn-
you gonna let him fucking call you out like that?
No, I think he actually.
No.
well, let me see.
I think Blitzway did
Let me
one.
see. You know
Long
what, Marco?
time ago.
Hang on. John is right. I'm both right and then like wrong. They did not do the two versions that was damn toys.
No.
That is my mistake. John is correct. Blitzway many years ago
Many
did
years
do
ago.
when they were doing the
Okay.
Scarface. They also did the Godfather. So
That was
thank
the
you for
first hot
correcting
Hot
the record
Toys.
there. Yeah,
It was in
just
quarter.
to just to show you guys here, this is the damn toys Godfather. So that's my mistake. Let's get back here to these slides. See what people have to say. Yeah, they had the awesome original 1/6 scale figures. Interbay did the Godfather. That's my apologies. Now this is getting into releases. First off, I really have to commend Sideshow because, for all the shit that they do, I always try to give credit where credit's due. They've been bringing in these figures fast. I'm talking like people are getting them. S Beam got his Captain Carter yesterday. I think one day after release in Hong Kong. So that's probably about as fast as you'd get from Toys Wonderland. But they did release the Captain Carter. This is based off of the What If series. I don't think they've released the Hydra Stomper 2-pack, so this would just be the solo pack. I think the figure looks okay. I think the body build, I don't love it, but I think the portrait is really well done. It's that kind of cartoon styling. The hair is not going to look super fine. Again, it's based off of the original artwork. But I think for a figure, I think I was a little hard on this last night on Marco's stream. I went back and watched the some of the clips of the show. She's definitely a little, kind of more muscular than voluptuous. So I kind of like this. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think it looks fantastic. I think the prototype probably looked a little better, but not like by like miles. It's not something I would own, but it's very cool. I do like it. Cool.
This is.
I was like, let's move on.
No, I was looking at the Godfather thing to make sure it wasn't a statue.
No, you're good.
I was. It looks like the show. It's a good representation of the show. Not for me. I don't like the way the shield came out. It gives me very like Hasbro vibes. That photo on the right gives me Hasbro vibes. I don't know. Cartoony. It's supposed to be that way, I guess, but I don't know. It's not for me. What's it called? The Iron Stomper, right? I think it's gonna go well.
Hydra Stomper.
I think it's gonna go well. it's going to accompany that very well when that comes out. But this is, I'm not a fan of this.
Yeah, to me, there's some positives, right? I'm glad that they're trying something new with the animated style. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. It's priced fairly reasonable at $220, so at least like it's, a bit below a standard release because it's pretty stripped down. But I don't love the body. Like obviously on a few streams, I've shown what the actress looks like. Of course, she looks a bit different on screen, but she is very built. So yeah, I don't necessarily love the body. It kind of screams Barbie doll to me. But I think overall there's a lot of redeeming qualities to this figure. But I think if Hot Toys was going to do something that's a little less realistic, which obviously they're known for, then I would love that price to be bumped down significantly more to kind of be a mid-range price, like a 170. I know that sounds unrealistic, but that would have made this a little bit more interesting to me overall. But yeah, some redeeming qualities, but overall just kind of a bland release in my opinion.
I wonder if they had a bit of a challenge with the body, though, right? Because if they made a more jacked, like more hero-framed female body, they'd probably have to go custom route, which means the cost of the figure would be higher. Alternatively, they could pad the uniform, but then you lose some of that articulation. So it's a bit of a tricky spot maybe to be in. I think for my recollection, just like when I think about the show, this definitely still nails it. I still think it looks fantastic. I agreed that it looks a little more on like the toyetic side than what I like to collect anyways. I like having the movie realistic versions. I would definitely be interested in seeing like a Haley Atwell Multiverse of Madness version of this character. I think that would be pretty, cool in the collection. For me, this one won't be a pickup. If it ends up going down, though, in terms of bargain bin prices down the line, drop from the 220, maybe sub 200, I could consider it 100%, especially if I start building out an animated line with like Miles Morales or some of the other cool characters that are out there. So we'll see. This is definitely a wait and see. But if this doesn't drop in price, I think I'll, hold out, as I said, for that Multiverse of Madness version.
Let's make a correction here live because this is a show where we know what we're talking about, and when we don't, we admit it. It was not Blitzway did a statue of Godfather back in the day, quarter scale statue. The one that did the original to compete with Hot Toys was Enterbay, not Blitzway. It was
Wow.
Enterbay.
Look at that. Correcting the record. You'll love to see it. In the words of a wise man, let's play the clip.
A man can only admit when he was wrong and ask forgiveness.
You'll love to
I'm
see
not
it
asking
correcting
for
the record
forgiveness.
there. Well, I mean,
Credit to Clovis,
we were both wrong. I beg forgiveness from the Chad. Hot Toys Iron Man Mark V. Now this was fast.
Yeah.
Like stupid fast.
Yeah.
In fact,
It's almost like
Mark-
they had some ready.
Exactly.
Marco, can you double check when this went up for solicitation? Just find the first My Thoughts video on this. This is stupid fast. When you have figures that are late, you cannot push out a quick figure like this. I'm sorry, you cannot do that. If I was a customer that had, Batman Begins on
Loki.
pre-order, Loki on pre-order, and this shit happened, I would be fucking furious. I mean, I don't know how good this figure is. Obviously, we just had a few blogger photos. I don't think anyone's got a review of it yet, but boy, this came out before the Mark V armor up version, the suit up version, and that was teased like last year. I don't understand. I mean, if this is truly just the repackaged Mark V, and all they had to do was add the base and the little car thing, even then, that's crazy to me that this came out so quickly.
I've been watching Is It Cake a lot with Shauna. And
Oh, yeah.
this
I know.
I love
car
Is It
behind,
Cake.
that could definitely be cake. I want to just say that right now.
Bro, that's some fondant on there, bro.
It's definitely fondant.
Real quick, we got 77 people watching live. Thank you guys for tuning in. Marco, do we have a date on this one by chance?
Still searching. Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is pretty insulting. This is literally, I mean, we just talked about this a few weeks ago. It hasn't even been months. It's literally only been weeks.
Let me go to the playlist here, see if we can find it.
This is insane.
September 8th is what I have. when
Oh
this
my
one goes
god.
in.
This is a month and a half almost. Jesus, that's yeah.
So are we upset that they're releasing this so quickly? Meanwhile, people are waiting for others.
I'm not upset that a figure came out early.
Yeah.
Right. I'm upset that there's figures that are 3 years late.
That are sitting.
You know,
yeah.
like to me, like, you know, even if it would have been a very small impact on production to produce this figure, I think for the optics, you don't do it. Right. You just don't.
We were saying though that we weren't, or like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the figure didn't even necessarily look all that different from the previous iteration, anyways. Like,
We
did
thought
they
it may have been a
already?
repackage.
Did they already exactly? Did they already have a stockpile of this in the back warehouse and literally, like you guys said, just had to come up with the base and then put it out?
Yeah.
Like a month turnaround time is like suspect. If you know, allegedly they had them in the backyard there. Let's be honest.
I don't remember
It doesn't
on
make
the
any sense.
diecast, Marco. Maybe you know this. On the diecast Mark V, do these flaps open up on the front? Maybe I can double check that quickly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there's like minimal die cast on this one from what the reviews I've seen. I don't have this one in hand yet, but also, do we know where this sits in the market just yet? Too, right? It was supposed to be an exclusive for the Shanghai store opening, and we're not quite sure if it's going to land. Like, because what if they did this one 300 exclusives? That would be something that's interesting. If,
Yeah,
if
that would
that
be
was really the.
That would be interesting. I don't
We've
know,
also
to be
said
honest. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we've also said before too that Iron Men are just definitely influxes of cash, right? For Hot Toys overall, and if they just do well either way, even if like North American collectors are like bored and kind of done with them, they pay the bills. So, we've suspected that they Hot Toys may need some injections of cash every once in a while, and again, if these guys were sitting in the back warehouse, it wouldn't take much.
From Iron Man 2, though, man, this stings.
You're
Man.
not wrong.
From Iron Man 2, wow.
Yeah, so I want to say this one did go up in solicitation on Sideshow. Maybe I'm wrong, but I remember
I don't think this was the Shanghai exclusive. Wasn't that the whole uproar? Was this came after the Shanghai exclusive?
Let me verify this as well.
I'm not sure. That I'm not sure.
I don't know. Now I'm not seeing on their website, but I remember we compared the pricing on these from the pseudo version.
I can't remember.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's move forward. The Swoop Bike Mando also went to Blogger Photos, so this should be coming out very soon. And, 3 releases, I guess, is good, but I think this should have been a Loki and these 2 other figures. I have no problem with Captain Carter and Swoop Bike Mando being released, but when you have a figure that was solicited less than 2 months ago, it's not a good look for me.
Yeah.
John, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor.
Yeah, let's do that. Just give me one quick second, because I am.
A question about the Mando.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same.
Is it going to be the new vacuum chrome Mando, or is this?
No, this is the Swoop Bike. So, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe
It's
this is
just
the
a bike?
regular. No, like this is the
This
regular.
is the Durasteel.
Durasteel, that's it.
No, this is Beskar. This is Beskar.
Beskar?
But what Dean's asking is it that new chrome paint application? If you want to Google that, Dean, on Sideshow, I think this was not with that new paint application, if I recall correctly.
Which would kind of be insulting.
What? But now I'm losing track of time here, in our discussions. Didn't the Beskar version come? Oh, I'm losing. So
Yeah, there's just too many fucking.
there's
things
too much
coming
shit.
out.
I thought so. The Durasteel one was the original
The
release they
original.
had.
Yeah, sorry,
Right.
this is the
And-
best.
but then they gave it with the Blurg again, and now they're doing it with this.
No.
no, now they're doing.
Now
the
this is the
Beskar with
Beskar.
Swoop Bike.
But the
Yeah,
question is this the original Beskar that was like plastic looking,
That's the
or the
question.
shiny?
It looks like it.
the
yeah.
chromed
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the chromed out one.
It doesn't look like the chrome.
Yeah, I
one.
wouldn't
It
be
looks
buying
like the
this then.
Flatter.
Yeah, so it looks
Which
like
is
this looks like the
disappointing.
Swoop Bike at present is a 285. You could buy it separately. Let me double check if we can get it as a 2-pack. Guess we didn't do our homework today, boys. Yeah, I think it's just the 285. So this is the old Mando on the new
That's-
Swoop Bike.
Kind of insulting.
You could buy the Swoop Bike by itself, I think, though, as well. No.
No, you can only buy it by itself. You can't buy it with the.
Oh,
Well, that's fine then.
yeah, that's fine then. Okay.
They're just displaying it that way, I guess.
They fly
yeah,
around.
I thought they came in a pack together.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they displayed it that way at the Comic-Con stuff.
I've
but I never
only
think
ever
it was
seen it like
solicited
this.
together.
Yeah. Okay.
John, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Yes, sir. We want to thank 16 Corner. Their mission is to provide the best figures and collectibles to their customers. They offer great packaging, fast shipping, and best in the business customer service. Collecting Weekly listeners get 10% off in-stock figures while our show is live using code capital C, capital W10.